Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to another Marvel vs. System 2-player card game. This is for the crossover set. So at the end of every year or volume, they do a crossover set, which is more or less a way to a smattering of characters from a bunch of different teams or sets that got released. So it might have one from this team, one character from that team, so on and so forth. This year, though, they decided to do the Marvel Studios collection or the MCU stuff. So we're going back to the photographic universe. So it's a little bit differently because they don't have teams; they have heroes and villains. But what we're gonna do is be revisiting a bunch of characters from stuff. This more or less focuses on Endgame, Infinity Wars, and Endgame. Plotline stuff. So we're getting reversions of characters from them. So we had, because we had some of the base sets that had the original Avengers and Captain America, Iron Man movies, and Thor. And then we came with the heroes and villains in the Marvel battles. We came back and we did some Spider-Man sets. And we jumped back in for the Infinity sets, Soul Stone, and those three. We hit some more of the different stuff throughout the series. We're coming back to just some of the reversion of the characters. The last sets we did, though, were the Disney Plus sets. So yeah, this is kind of neat to jump back into that. So we're going to revisit a bunch of our old friends, some heroes, maybe some villains, just with some updated versions of them. So just some alternate ways to play as these characters. So let's go ahead and just hop right into this. Let's see what it says on the side here. This year's closing annual issue of Versus System is full of new teams and characters from the Avengers. From the Marvel Cinematic Universe, customize your deck, assemble your team of superheroes and villains to defeat your opponent. Cool. Nothing extra special. We'll look at the little instruction sheet as needed. So we're gonna start off with Captain America, good old Steve Rogers here. So this is from Infinity Wars. So he's a level 1 hero. I'm not looking for forgiveness. In your main, pay red to ready a character on your side. Together, level up 6. When characters on your side team attack, Cap gains 1 XP for each attacker. So as soon as you get more and more guys out, he'll be able to level up quicker. He goes from 3-4. We'll just jump right up to 5-8. This is from Endgame, when now he has Thor's hammer. Avengers Assemble. Reveal the top 5 cards of your deck. Put each hero supporting character from among them into your hand. Put the rest of the bottom of your deck. Put a 1/1 counter on cap for each card you put in your hand. Ooh, that's pretty cool. And I knew it. Put 5 -1/-1 counters on a face-up enemy characters with the highest attack. Use Settle Ties. Just kind of neat, so you can throw the hammer essentially and weaken someone with it. This is a neat little different take on Captain America. Alright, then we are going to look at the Hulk. When he's talking to the Ancient One there. He's a 3/5, so he's not really strong at this point, which is interesting for the Hulk. We need your help. At the start of the build phase, name a character. Build the top 2 cards of your deck. Put each character with that name into your hand and the rest back to the top of any order. Recovering the Time Stone, level up 3. At the end of your turn, you may discard an Academy, a Laboratory, or an Ancient One. If you do, Hulk gains 1 XP. Interesting. So again, different way to level up. Having specific cards. Might be a little bit harder to do, but at least at the beginning one, it doesn't cost anything to do that, right? So every turn you could potentially even just keep naming the Ancient One. Oh, look at the top 2. Nope, not those 2 next time. Except they keep going back on the top, so if you're not drawing past those 2 cards every turn, then you're just looking at the same cards over and over. But at least you can kind of cycle a little bit. That should be helpful. Then we have upgraded. It goes to 5/10. And we becomes by using the Infinity Gauntlet, or Iron Man's version at least. The Brains and the Brawn together has Genius and Lethal. At the start of your turn, draw a card. That's Genius. And for Lethal, if you wound a defending supporting character, KO it. It's like I was made for this. So pay 2 strength, an energy, and a Genius. Wound Hulk. Then put any number of supporting characters with different names from your KO pile into your side. The Hulk can use this power once each game. That's kind of neat. Like, right, it's just simulating when he basically uses stone to bring everyone back. So that's kind of a cool idea there. It's only one wound, so it's not even like it's gonna almost kill him. Yeah, from your KO piles. So you can find a way to get a lot of your characters KO'd. You can all of a sudden, boom, make a cool comeback. Alright, up next we have Iron Man. Earth is close today. Pay blue. Choose an enemy character in combat. Its attack becomes 0 this combat. Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good. Level up 1. When another character on our side gets KO'd on an enemy turn, Iron Man gains 1 XP, then stun him. That's kind of neat, right? Just for the fact of, like, right before the snap, or the blip as they eventually started calling it. Yeah, kind of a neat way to do that. You can basically keep blocking guys, but you just have to sacrifice someone, essentially. Jumps up to a 9-6, and he has, I couldn't stop him. Iron Man can't strike while defending. And then I am Iron Man. At the end of your turn, Iron Man may pay power symbols equal to the total remaining health of all enemy characters. If he does, remove those characters from the game and KO Iron Man. Interesting. So he can eliminate anybody he wants from the entire game, but he has to KO himself. So unless you can somehow get another main character out, that means you're going to lose the game as well. But you could potentially take out your opponent as well, at least at most hope for a tie. Interesting, though. But yeah, it may pay part equal to the total remaining of all enemy characters. That's what I think is you have to pay symbols of all enemy characters' total health. So, like, if you can knock it, if he has, like, 4 guys out, right, and his main character still has, like, 2 health, each one of them have 1, even still, if he has main character with 4 health and 4, that's 8 symbols you have to use. That can be very tricky. By then, again, it's just trying not go for the win, but go for the tie. Alright, then we have one last main character. We're going to hit Thor. Nothing lasts forever. At the start of your main phase, put 2 -1/-1 counters on Thor, so he becomes kind of weak. I'm still worthy. When Freya appears on your side, remove each 1/1 counter from Thor and you gain 1 XP. Okay, so kind of like Hulk working for a specific character. Always an interesting way to level up, because it's like, then you have to build your deck with a way to find that character. So hopefully they're going to be useful otherwise. And then we have levels up to 7-7. You take the little one. When Thor flies over one or more enemy, put 2 -1/- counters on each of them. And then let's kill him properly this time. When Thor KOs an enemy supporting character on your turn, remove it from the game. Then search its owner's hand, deck, and KO pile from each character with that name from the game. Oh, that's pretty cool. So you can fly over guys and KO him, and as he KOs him, he's going to slowly eliminate all the rest of your opponent's characters. That's awesome. Awesome. Okay, so let's jump into our things. So we're going to start with Jane Foster as a supporting character from Thor the Dark World. So now we're going to start getting some characters from different areas. She's one of a kind, so you only have one of these cards in your deck. I saw you with the Avengers. At the start of your main phase, put 2 1/1 counters on the main character's side named Thor. So I love this as a cool mechanic for this game, for the versus system, where they have, like, here's an ally. They're not meant to do anything other than pump up or boost somehow a specific character in your deck. And it can be the main character, it can be another supporting character as a name, but they only have 1 per deck, so that's their whole entire purpose. You put this, like, fairly cheap character in, they're going to come in, they're going to boost up 1 character. And it just makes a neat way to get, like, some of the side characters in there that you can't really figure out how to do a full character for. So that's pretty cool. So unless we come across more cards like that, we'll assume that all of them have 4 copies of each, unless I say otherwise. just so I don't have to keep repeating that. So we're going to have Rescue. Of course, Pepper Potts here. Electromagnetic force fields. Any combat. She's blue or green. Choose a character in a combat. It can't be struck this turn. Cool. We have another one of a kind here. We have Fangirl from Thor the Dark World. The Warriors 3. When Fangirl appears, you may heal a wound from Hogun or a Volstagg. The wield of Bouldrager. Fangirl has +2/+2 and mobile while he is unwounded. Let's see if I have a list for keywords for mobile. Once per turn during your main phase, but not during combat. You may move this character to your front or back row, so lets him get around pretty quick. Cool. We have Freya, which we needed for our Thor main character. I see with more than eyes. Look at the enemy player in your hand. You may choose a player to discard your hand. If you do, they may draw that many cards. Yeah, it's kind of neat. It's kind of cool. So we're getting a bunch of support characters for Thor, because we didn't really have a Thor box set at all. This is a neat way to do that. Maybe a little bit more than I would hope for. But yeah, we haven't had any of these characters. So it's a great way to, if you want to make a Thor deck. We have Hogan here, who's also a 1 card because he's a 1 of a kind. He also has Warrior 3. When Hogan appears, you may heal Fangirl or Volstagg. Wielder of the Hydragar has +2 and ferocious while he's unwounded. It's kind of neat. So as long as the guys keep healing each other, and then when the other one appears, they heal the other one, they get back their special ability. In melee combat, this character strikes before other characters without ferocious. And then the other Warrior 3 is we have Volstagg. So again, 1 copy. Appears and heal Fangirl Hogan. The wielder of the Brandon Hills Undersurg has +2 and has dodge. Can't be ranged attacked. Interesting. You wouldn't think Volstagg would have dodge because of his size. Alright, we're back to our 4 copy, guys. We have Hulk. From the Endgames. Brain and Brawn together has genius and lethal. So, kind of taking off the other Hulk there. We have Sif, but we do get 4 copies of her. Sif and start your main phase, put a 1/1 counter on Sif and each the Warriors 3 on your side. Sword and shield, green or red in combat. Sif gets +3/+3 this combat. Sif can use his power any number of times this turn. That's pretty cool to make her very viable. We're gonna get an Iron Man version. I figured out time travel. Yellow and red. Choose a number 1 to 3. Each player shuffles that many resources on their side into their owner's deck. Oh, kind of like going back in time. That's a kind of a neat effect. Shut down your opponent. You can plan for it, but you can shut them down. We have a Captain America. On your left, characters or captain's left row have Berserker. When this character attacks, put a 1/1 counter on it. That's kind of interesting. And then Avengers Assemble, kind of same as his other one. Really top 5 cards of the deck, put each hero supporting into your hand. Rest of the bottom of your deck gets a 1/1 for each card you put in your hand. And then we have Thor. Let's kill him proper this time. When Thor tails any supporting characters, remove it from the game, search his source hand deck, tail pile, and remove each character that name from the game. Cool. Alright, so that was our heroes. Then we're going to get into some villains here. We didn't get any new main character villains, but we're going to get some just supporting character. George's Batroc from Captain America and the Winter Soldier. She has a leap, because he's also known in the comic books as Batroc the Leaper. She has flying on your turn. And combat expert. Well, Batroc is in combat on your turn. Enemy players can't play plot twists. So that's cool. Like, right, we're getting some other characters that you might not normally have gotten. Because, yeah, we didn't really do a full, like, movie for this box set for this character set or this movie. We're also going to get an alternate Thanos. This is representing the Thanos that came from the past. As the stars. I will shred this universe. Main green, remove any enemy photographic universe equipment, location, or supporting character from the game. Interesting. It's also kind of neat to say photographics. That means if you're somehow playing with a deck that lets you use both worlds, or if you're fighting against somebody else that for somehow is playing the illustrated or comic book version, you can't get rid of their stuff. So I'm just trying to see if there's any other different stuff here. Before we get into the last little bit. So one thing we did want to point out before I get into the plot twists and stuff like that, that's our last supporting character. So we did have with the Iron Man here. It does say for his, there's no, because that's the way you can basically use it to remove any number of players. It says if this ends the game because no main characters are left, Iron Man player will win the game because it's their turn. Interesting. I thought we'd bring it to a tie. That's kind of neat. You can force your win on that point. Alright, then we have some plot twists. For the villains, we have I Am Inevitable. One of a kind, so there's only one copy. Choose a supporting character on your side in combat. It can't be struck, stunned, or wounded this combat. That's not bad, right? You get to play that and keep one of your guys alive. And then for the heroes, we have I Went for the Head. Again, one of a kind, so there's only one character on your side in combat. When it strikes an enemy supporting character's combat, stun that enemy supporting character, then KO it and remove it from the game. This is kind of a neat little like twist because it's the heroes being like, hey, we have a very lethal way of dealing with you and getting rid of you, and the villains are like, hey, I'm going to support and protect this character. So like opposite things they would have. But again, just something like that, even one card per deck makes them a little bit more interesting. Alright, then the last board we have are something I think are brand new to the photographic universe, but they have been in the illustrated, is we're going to have a story mode card. So story mode's kind of neat because it sets it up as like a multiplayer game. You play 3 games in a row. So it says, in story mode, players will play through a series of 3 games called parts with the same deck, gaining the advantage for each game they win. But the part 3 is winner take all. So it's going to have a new story mode. So it does have, choose a card either randomly or by consulting the story complexity below. Rules, player A always goes first in part 1, and then where each part goes, depending on which part says. After each part is over, simply follow the directions. Yeah, so kind of cool. Okay, in Cosmic Scales, a player A picks 3 different main characters and builds a single deck that would be legal for any one of those characters. So this is cool for 2 reasons. Because 1, it means the way this works is it doesn't have anything that specifies that it has to be used for the photographic universe. So this can be used in, even if you purchase this, you could use this with any other illustrated decks or any other game. And it also means vice versa. I think almost all of them can be used with these modes as well. So it's kind of cool because it lets you play both of them together. Because it doesn't have list it one photographic or illustrated. So this says, the fate of the universe is at stake. Player A builds 1 deck that is legal with 3 different main characters and chooses one of them to use for part 1. And this is probably easier to do for the photographic because then it's just heroes versus villains. But yeah, to make it legal, it just means if they have some sort of restrictions or anything like that, if they add special extra decks, you have to make sure you have all of them. This should be more for the illustrated. They have a lot more stuff in there, like maybe they have to make an invention deck, or if you're playing something like King, you have to have King's Council or Franklin Richards. I'm only just thinking some of the recent sets that came out. Like he has to have multiple decks built to play against. So yeah, you have to have whatever their things are. So part 1, the snap question mark. Player A wins to the garden. Just kind of if you're playing, it has Thanos there essentially. Remove 1 copy of each supporting character in player B's deck for the rest of the story. Oh boy. So that could be bad for you if you're playing a bunch of them one character only decks. Um, Player B wins. We've stopped him for now. Player A must choose a new main character for part 2. The blip, question mark, inevitable. If player A also won part 1, move another copy of each supporting character in B's deck. If player A lost part 1, they go back to the first main character for part 3. Interesting. I think it worked. If player B also won part A, player A must use their final main character. For part 3, if player B lost part 1, return their removed supporting characters to their deck for part 3. And then part 3 of the aftermath. Player A, I will shred this universe down to its last atom. And player B, we did this all day and longer. So that's kind of neat. So it's like that. You play the first game. If player A wins, they remove cards from players B decks. This is going to make them harder to win. But if player B wins, now they have to switch to a main. Player A has to have a new character. So that means they have to switch up their deck strategies. And then, yeah, whoever wins in part 2 makes the game interesting. If B wins, they get... if they won the first part, now that player B has to go to... Player A then has to go back to their third character. So they might cycle through both. But it's kind of cool, though. If they lost the first part but won the second part, they at least get their cards back. So that's kind of neat. And then same thing with A wins one, they get to remove more cards from B, making it even harder for B to win the third time. But then, yeah, if they lost the first one and won this one, they can go back to their other character if they, if they want to, they have to. But yes, it's kind of like best of 2 of 3, except it is 3 of 3. You have to play all 3 matches. Yeah, it does add for a little bit. It's kind of neat because it's like you play these games and it's like this deck versus that deck, this versus that deck, this versus that deck. And then you add something like this, which then changes up the formula. You're still playing this deck versus that deck, but now you have a little bit of extra little thing tossed in there, changes it up just enough to make it interesting. Then again, you get more of the story cards from other different sets. And it makes it a little bit more interesting just to do different stuff. Especially maybe if you only have a limited number of sets. Like if you only bought like a core set and a couple of, like maybe you've only been buying the photographic universe, the MCU stuff. Even just this one card is going to give you something a little bit different to do. Interesting. So then the last thing we have is we actually have some bosses. So these were also been a lot in the illustrative, but now they're adding them in here. So bosses play a little bit interesting as well. What's really fun is because these are actually hero bosses. I did mention in a previous video, I said I wish they'd make heroes. They technically have now. Exploring bosses game where one boss player fights a team of 2 other players. So now this lets you, again, change up the game just enough to keep it very interesting. So it's a 3-player game, but it's 2v1. One player chooses a boss character and a main character at the game. For example, if you choose Hulk, you can play as the Avengers Hulk from the Illustrated Universe, the original Hulk, Bruce Banner Hulk, or the Hulk from this issue, because they all have different names. It doesn't matter as long as it says the Hulk. The 2 other players choose any other main character other than the same one. So you can't play as... Ideally, you're not supposed to play as Hulk versus Hulk. Boss battle uses free-for-all with a following changes. The boss player goes first, then proceeds clockwise. No player skips their draw step. When the boss location appears on the boss's side, basic location appears on the boss's side. You get related power from its symbol as instructed on the boss battle card. When a special location appears, it shares a team. The boss appears on the side, they get a related effect. The boss only wins by KOing the other 2 players. The other 2 players win by KOing the boss. Yes, this is kind of cool. So it's letting you play with these guys even though it has photographic picture. Yeah, so I love the fact that this lets you... It is acknowledging, though, that you can play with any of these guys. Yes, the picture's not going to match, but the idea is that now you have villains that can go up against some of the heroes, or vice versa. Although, granted, I don't know if a lot of the boss battles from the Illustrated universe have cards for the photographic one, because I know there's like Galactus, Doctor Doom, Carnage, King, and none of them guys are in this set, at least of yet, as main characters. I think there might be some other. I mean, there's plenty of others, like 5 or 6 other ones, but I don't think there's too many. Thanos might be the only one that has a main character someone could play as from the photographic if you just wanted to do that. Alright, so we're going to fight Captain America. So it says, when a location appears on your side, if it is a blue energy, so he plays one of those, he has Vibranium Shield. Choose up to 4 face-up enemy characters and put 4, 3, 2, and 1, -1 counters on them, respectively. It is a genius yellow language. Reveal the top card of your deck, draw it, and then draw another one for each word in its title. That's kind of cool. For the effects, language effects count as acronyms as one word for each of its letters. So if you have like shield in it, it counts one word for each of its shield letters. So strategic, homeland security, whatever department, logistics department. So yeah, I get one for each letter. So that's kind of cool. I can do this all day. For a strength, heal a wound from Captain America, play a combat, assemble. Search your deck for a hero, a Captain America team, or an Avengers supporting character and reveal it. Put it into your hand, play 3/1/1 counters on tap. And then if he plays a special location that matches his type. So again, if he's a hero, has to be a special location that matches a hero. If he's the Avengers version, it has to be the Avengers one. So just choose one of the effects above, or once per game for the rest of the game, team attacks on your side can't be struck. So these last ones are pretty cool. The other ones you're going to hit a lot more, might hit more often. The last one you might not. Cool. You can also fight the Hulk. Says gamma radiation for a blue. Put a -1/-1 counter on each enemy character. Hulk can't be stunned this turn. Puny Banner for a yellow. Draw 3 cards. Green has Smash. KO an enemy supporting character. Then put 1/1 counters equal to its attack on Hulk. And red, I'm always angry. Hulk gains Berserker for the rest of the game. And if you play a special, choose one of the effects above, or once per game, heal 2 wounds from Hulk. I like that bottom one, gives you a little bit of options. Pretty cool. If we fight Iron Man, one location appears on our side. If it's an arc reaction, when Iron Man gains 1 or more 1/1 counters this turn, he strikes an enemy supporting character. Billionaire, draw 2 cards and gain 2 recruit points. Repulsor Tech, put 2 -1/-1 counters on each of the front row characters, then push it to its back row. Impressive Intuitiveness, search your deck for an equipment and play it free, ignoring team restrictions, or reveal it and put it in your hand. That's neat. Especially because I don't know if there's any equipment in the photographic stuff yet. There might be. Or choose one of the effects above. Then you may put a basic location from your hand onto your side. So this is kind of neat. So he doesn't get an option, but he has a dual one. So that's pretty cool. And then finally we have if we fight Thor. As Guardian Prince, reveal the top 6 cards of your decks. Put a Freya, Heimdall, Hela, or Odin from among them into your side. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck, then put 2 -1 counters on an enemy character. So what's neat there is that, like, we just had this Thor to level him up. You have to find a Freya. So this would be kind of a neat way to, like, if you had this out and you're playing a Thor, you could play a blue card down, and then you'd be able to play this ability. You look for the top 6 cards, you could potentially look for their Freya that way. You call it science. Same reveal effect, but for Darcy Lewis, Eric Selvig, or Jane Foster. Then draw 2 cards. Sif and the Warriors 3. Same reveal effect for Sif, Fangirl, Hogan, and Volstagg. Put 2 1/1 counters on Thor. Or Get Help. Same reveal effect. Get Help. But for Loki, they exhaust Loki. Same effect above, but for any one of the above named characters. So that's actually kind of cool. So like the other guys are getting like little other effects. He's just summoning like his team of like every allies that he helps out. Now the thing is, I like Darcy and Selvig for sure are only going to be in the photographic universe. I don't think there's a illustrated version for those. So that ability might not be as strong. I don't even know if there for sure is a Jane Foster in the illustrated yet. So that one might not be useful if you're playing the comic book version. And again, I'm not even 100% sure any of the other characters other than Loki all appear in the other one. So I might have to do a video at some point where I come back and like I look at these bosses and kind of see what we have for all the different characters. Now that we know for sure, we can combine the different universes together. Because that would make a difference. Not that one. I do want to see this. So I have the other set here. We just had a recent set that also had story, but I don't know if it's specified. Yeah, this one. Yeah, this one just specifies. Yeah, just making your deck, but it doesn't specify anywhere about actually being able to use characters from either universe, which is kind of interesting. So I wonder if because up to this point, maybe that wasn't a thing. They weren't worried about it. But yeah, it's neat that you can definitely do that. So yeah, that's cool. Because then we have all the other characters. You can mix and match those. Again, like the story mode and the boss battles, again, might be reason enough for someone to pick up this deck, even if they're just collecting the illustrated, because they get a couple other different options of stuff to do. Otherwise, yeah, if you're a fan of one of these other characters, like, right, you're going to get some good supporting characters. We have some, lots more Thor stuff in here, but we do have, like, Rescue for Iron Man, plus some new main characters to swap up if you want to do something a little bit different. Yeah, so really fun, really cool. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Hopefully they keep doing more of the illustrated stuff. Like I said, we just did Disney Plus recently, but that was only Loki, WandaVision, and Captain America and the Winter Soldier. So we have plenty of other new ones that have come out since then. Obviously, like Season 2's stuff. But we've had, like, Miss Marvel came out. Loki Season 2 came out. Technically, What If, which is that weird cross between kind of the two of them. It's hard to say which universe that falls into for the sake of this game, so it'll be interesting how they do something with that. But yeah, I hope they keep doing it. Plus, we've had other movies that came out. Like, I don't think we've really had a lot of stuff with, like, Ant-Man. We had some more Spider-Man stuff, which would be cool. Again, I hope they keep doing more stuff with this and they don't kind of, like, this wasn't, like, the end game for that, and they're going to kind of end it. Because there's plenty of more characters and interesting stuff to do with that series. Alright, hope to see you guys in the other videos. See you later. Bye.